Alright, here we go. Another one requested by the subscriber sent over by Acme Tools, not Makita. This is the 18 volt LXT lithium ion brushless cordless compact router tool only. As usual, today we're going to slice, we're going to dice, we're going to go through all the specs. I'll show you how it's used, all the things that I do like, a couple of things that I don't, and I will put a link in the description below for this tool, but let's get the video started. Now, we have been looking at all of the cordless compact routers, and by far this is the smallest, most compact one out of them all. Now, it states that this router weighs 4.6 pounds, but I'm assuming that's with the battery because it feels extremely light. But don't let the lightness fool you, this thing is built extremely well. It's also pretty simple to set up and get going right out of the box. So let's take a closer look at this. But today we are going to be using the 5AH battery. Yes, it will work on any 18 volt Makita battery. Now, one of my favorite parts about this router is the on and off lock buttons. It's not a toggle switch type of deal that you see on all of the other routers, and this actually acts as a safety function. Every time this shuts down, you have to push the unlock button before you can press the power button and get it going again. This is nice because if you forget that the battery's in there and you have it in your hands and you accidentally hit the on button, you don't have to worry about chopping your fingers off. Now, in this kit, you'll also get the dust extractor and you'll get the edge guide. So everything you need is in the kit. Now, another thing that I noticed right away as soon as I took this out of the box was how the edge guide was attached. Now, you basically take that, throw it up in like so, and then you just tighten it down. This design looked very familiar, and I remembered it was off the Milwaukee router. And considering the Makita was out first, well, I'll have to say, even though I love Milwaukee, well, you know what happened there. But even though the Milwaukee did replicate it, Makita still did it better. I like the knob a lot better than on the Milwaukee because you get more grip and you can tighten it down where it actually allows you to adjust it a little more tight and you don't have to worry about that play. Now, as far as it goes with the faceplate here, you just pop it on and you put the screw on, and geez, that's really familiar as well. I remember the Milwaukee had the exact same setup. So maybe Makita should be flattered how Milwaukee basically designed their system almost the exact same way. The only issue I had with this one was, well, the bolt that holds that faceplate in, why does it have to be so freaking long? I mean, literally, a half an hour later and I'm still screwing this thing in. But once you do finally get it in, it stays in there real nice and it does a great job collecting the dust, which we'll show you here later in the video. Now, here is the first of my two negatives on the Makita router. Alright, so when you go to remove this out of the base, it actually does a really good job. It's quick, it's simple, it lines up on those tracks, super easy. But when it comes to the micro adjustment, there's nothing to lock that router down into the base and allows you to make the micro adjustments. All the micro adjustments that you see has to be made like this, or you have to tip it on its side to really get a fine tune. Let me explain this more. On the Milwaukee, what they have is a quick release. So you hit the button, you pull that router out of the base or down or adjust it where you want, and then you can do the micro adjustment. This does not offer that. So now that I do have this out, let's take a look at the etchings. You have the inches on the left or millimeters on the right, which I like. You do have the two LED lights on the base of this, which are actually pretty bright. And again, if you want to adjust this and really fine tune it, well, you're going to have to do it like this. I'm not a fan. I wish there was a lock button there and then you could do it just like you would on the Rigid or the Milwaukee. Oh yeah, and you'll also get a template guide in this box, so that's pretty cool if you use those. Now, once you do take that router out, you can put your bits in and then just slide it back in. But that brings me to the second thing I do not like about this router, and that is the base plate that comes with this. But before I get into too much detail with that, let's start cutting and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, let's start the slicing and dicing. Here is your speed adjustment knob. Fairly simple to use. It goes from 1 to 5. And I'm going to let you hear what that sounds like right this second. Alright, here's your speed setting number 1. You can adjust this from 0 RPM all the way up to 3000 RPM. So you definitely have some power behind this router. Even though it's smaller, don't let that fool you. This thing has some kahunas. So let's throw on our rabbiting bit and I will adjust the speed setting as I make my way down through this board. So the speed setting number 5, way more power than I needed, so I could turn that back down to a 3 or 4 if I needed to. Now here's a different angle of that rabbiting bit. And that was oh so smooth. Now let's do a round over bit, and don't worry, we're going to make a bunch of cuts here, but let's do this first and then we'll talk. Tons of power on that router, but check that out. Really nice cuts, but I'm running into a bit of an issue with that bass. And as we know,
because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. But even though it makes incredible cuts, that bass is a real pain because it wobbles on you. It's just too small. Now you can go out and buy other basses for this router that allow you to put different attachments on and really control that wobble, but it's just too small. And even though that's just one of the issues with the bass, there is a bigger problem that I had with this bass. Now, every router that I have used, compact, full size, whatever, I was able to fit in any 1/4 inch bit that I wanted to on those routers. And because of this bass and the way it's designed, well, not so much. Now, when I went to use my 3/8 round over bit, which is 1/4 inch, I could not get my bass to go back on. I never had that issue before, so what I decided to do was, well, take the bass, put it back on, and then try to adjust it like that, but it would only let me go up so far. And then another issue arose. Because the wrench is so large, due to the cullet being one of the largest that I've ever seen, well, I really had issues tightening it down. Now, once I did get it tightened down, I was able to do some cutting with it, and that was fine and all, but the problem I ended up with was I really ended up with a raised panel, and though a lot of people might want that look, I didn't. I wanted the completely smooth round over bit. Now, once I was done cutting, I went to take that bit out, but it was nearly impossible to do. Because again, the wrench was too big to be able to position it to grab that collet, and well, it just didn't work out. So what I had to do was actually take off the bottom of that base, which kind of irked me because this is one of my most used bits and I've never had that issue with any other router. Now, I haven't used the other base attachments and I'm hoping that's not the case, but it was a little strange to me that I wasn't able to use this bit when, like I said, I've used them on every other router without issues. But let's try the dust collection. Now that plate goes on pretty simple. You just hook up your vacuum, set up the edge guide, and we'll make some dovetail cuts. Now, unfortunately, the batteries died in my microphone without me knowing about it, so there's no sound of this, but I will tell you that power-wise, I did not have any issue with cutting those dovetails down through. My only real issue was, again, that base. Even though it was laying flat down on the surface, I was still having issues with it wanting to, I don't know, tilt or wobble a little bit. I needed a larger base. And it made really good cuts, I just needed that extra control. Now, as for the dust collection system itself, it works really good. We're using that Ryobi cordless vac. It goes into any cordless router that I have tried, and we've tried them all. So, but let me show you here. It does a really good job just picking that up, throwing it out, and then sucking it out. Real happy with that. And there you go, that's the Makita router. So let's talk about this here real quick. The things I don't like right off the bat, I don't like the base. I wish they would have come out with a larger base that they would have put in the box. You can go out and buy a larger base. I think that would fit a lot of different attachments, and I think it would solve that problem with the round over. The other thing is, the micro adjustment. I wish there was a lock button on there that would automatically catch that, and then you can micro adjust. Now, am I being picky? Yeah, because that's what we do here. It's a tool review. And the reason why I'm sort of picking on those two things is because I've used other routers, every other router, and they just did a better job. But those are two very small things. I don't use my micro adjustment all that much, so that's not a big deal to me. The biggest thing was the base, which is an easy fix. At the end of the day, this is an excellent router. It's extremely light, but it is extremely powerful. The cuts are really, really smooth. It's built like a freaking tank, and it's a Makita, so it's probably going to last you a very, very long time. And if not, you got a 3-year warranty on it. Now, another thing that I like about this is the speed adjustment. I did not notice anything going out of whack as I was cutting, and I also believe that you can use this on the Shapeoko CNC machine. But I truly do believe the best part of this router is the price. I looked at the price on the Acme site, $129, and you get all of that. I think that's one hell of a deal. I actually didn't know what the price was before going into this review, and I assumed it was probably $160, $170. So when I seen $129, I was thinking that's pretty fantastic for this router. And you just can't get past the feel in your hands, the size of that thing, the comfort of it, the use of it, the power of it. It is just a really well done tool. So would I recommend this? Yeah, absolutely. Aluminum base, dust route, edge guide, wrenches, all that come with it. Pfft, great deal. And again, the lowest setting, you're down to 10,000 RPM up to 30,000 RPM. It's going to cut through anything you wanted to. And you can also use a smaller 16-inch collet on this if you wanted to do some really fine detail work. So yeah, it is an awesome router. Now, I will leave a link in the description below for this tool. Check it out over at Acme. They sent this over for us to take a look at. You guys requested it. They allowed us to look at it. So that was really cool of them. But I want to know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. What do you like about the router? What do you not like about the router? Have you used it? What do you think of it, with it being hands-on and all? Don't forget to smash that like button as it helps out the video. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, hit that bell notification, and you can come over and say hi to us on the Instagram page. We're nice over there at Tool Review Zone. We'll be back with more videos soon. I appreciate you all stopping by.